Hello, 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 good people. Just going to give Facebook a moment to bring a couple people in. How are you guys doing? We're driving, or I shouldn't say I'm driving. Marlena is driving. And I'm riding. We're on our way to Virginia for the Virginia Women's Business Conference. And I just wanted to pop on real quick for two reasons. First, because I didn't pop on this week yet. And second, because I just wanted to share a little message just to encourage you. I'm not feeling my best right now. Like, I really feel horrible, if I can be honest. Hey, April, how's California? But sometimes you got to press through, right? Because when you're a leader and you have responsibility, I'm expected to speak today. I'm keynoting today at the Virginia Women's Business Conference, and I can't just be like, yo, I'm not feeling well, I'm not coming. Sometimes you have to press through. And so as a leader, we have to understand the significance of the press. So I just thought while I'm riding and Marlena is driving, I would just jump on real quick and talk about pressing through, because as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as CEOs, as leaders, as wives, as daughters, sisters, sometimes you don't want to be bothered. But when you have made a commitment to operate in integrity and operate in your purpose, it's never about you. It's always bigger than you, right? There's always someone on the other end of whatever it is that you have to share that are going to get exactly what they needed from it. And that's what my press is about today, because I'm going to be real honest with you. I got up this morning. Actually, I got up last night in the middle of the night to, for my midnight potty run. That might be too much information, but anyway. And I could not go back to sleep. I was in so much pain. I tossed and turned for the rest of the night, and I had to get up at 7 to go get my hair done so that I could, get ready to go to Virginia today. And I didn't want to. When I came back from getting my hair done, all I wanted to do was get in the bed and pull the covers over my head and say, no, not today. Today, I want to rest. I want to do nothing. I want to chill. But sometimes you don't have that luxury because people are depending on you and they're counting on you. And when you decide, and because it is a decision, entrepreneurship is absolutely a decision, right? When you decide to operate in your purpose and to be a problem solver for major pains that other people are experiencing through your business, sometimes you have to do work when you don't feel like it. And that's where the press comes in. So I love acronyms. If you don't know that about me, I love acronyms. And so my acronym for press is persistently run, expecting supernatural success. Let me repeat that. Persistently run, expecting supernatural success. So the commitment that God makes to us when we delight ourselves in Him is that He will always be there. He will never leave us. He will never forsake us. And when you're in alignment and you commit to doing the work that you've been called to do, that alignment is what allows your natural to be influenced by His super, so that you'll be able to persistently run and expect that supernatural success. And so what's really powerful about tapping into your purpose and being in alignment, like even though I didn't feel well this morning, I got up, I did my prayer, I went through my prayer time. I have this surrender prayer that I do first thing every single morning. And then it's just me turning it all over to God. And I do it every day because sometimes I pick it back up, right? Because we tend to do that, right? We think when we're in control, the results that we will experience will be much greater than when we throw our hands up and surrender. But I'm here to tell you that if there are things that you have want of that you don't have, the reason you don't have them is because you are in control. As soon as you lose control, then that's when God can show Himself mighty in your life and put the things that you want in place. And it's hard sometimes to be heart-driven, purpose-driven, mission-centered, focused on doing good in the world, to let it go, to relinquish. And so every morning I get up and I I do my surrender prayer, and it's basically me saying, God, I turn it all over to you. My day, my to-do list, my schedule, my outcomes, my deliverables, my clients, my marriage, my health. I turn it all over to you. Where would you have me to go? What would you have me to do? What would you have me to say? And to whom would you have me to say it? And I do that because Darnyelle, in and of her own power and strength, will jack something up. I used to be a control freak. I'm so recovering from being a control freak. But there was definitely a point in time in my life where I had to have my hand in everything. And every once in a while, I'm reminded that I need to do that. You can go the expressway if you want. I'm sorry, I had to tell Marlena she can go to expressway if she likes. So what I've done is realize the importance of surrender. The importance of being okay without knowing the how. Catch this. Hold on, let me resituate myself. The how is not your job. You may have heard me say that before. And I know that, if you are an entrepreneur, 9 times out of 10, you are extremely creative and imaginatively resourceful, right? And so you get your thrill off of figuring out how to actually make the things that you want happen. It's the end of 2018. We've got 33 days left in the year, because today's the 29th. Oh no, only got one more day this month. So we got like 32 days left in the year. And you're trying to figure out, A, what are your goals for 2019? And then B, how are you going to actually enact those goals? But the thing is, the how isn't your job, right? You just heard a few moments ago, you heard the GPS, right? And I know this is a tired cliche, but it's the quickest way for me to get you to understand how surrender will put you in a position to arrive at the destination where you want to be at exactly the precise time that you're supposed to be there. Because see, when you follow a GPS, they will reroute you from time to time. They will send you around traffic. They will help you to avoid the potential mistakes that if you're left to your own devices to do it yourself because you think you know how, you'll mess it up, right? That's what has the potential to happen to you. But when you surrender, like when you plug in to the GPS your address, and you allow the GPS to calculate and figure it all out for you, so that all you have to do is catch this, be obedient. All you have to do is be obedient to what the GPS says, and you'll arrive at the destination that you're supposed to be exactly when you're supposed to be there. So that's what surrender is like. That's what surrender is all about. And as much as entrepreneurs and CEOs, those of you who are, doing the darn thing and running your own business, you want to take credit for all of that. The real magic happens when you surrender, when you lift your hands, when you take the control away from yourself and place it where it needs to be, right? Because God works through faith. He works through faith, right? I mean, the Bible says it is, without faith, it's what? It's impossible to please him. And if he works through faith, but you have to be in control and you have to know how, and you can't take a step until you know how does God get the glory from that? How does your work get out into the world for other people to know that you exist? The answer is that it doesn't. So today, I'm not feeling my best. I'm actually feeling better, maybe because I came on and, just dropped a little word for you guys. But I just wanted to share with you about the importance of the press, because I know that there are people waiting for me in Virginia today to share a word with them to impart something that will not only equip and empower, but also educate them to get to where it is that they want to be. But surrender is the key. So today, especially because I'm not feeling well, like I have this speech, like I usually am not, let me say it this way. I used to not be a preparer when I do a keynote. When I'm doing a workshop, it's different, right? Because I have specific learning objectives for my audience. But when you're doing a keynote, more often than not, you're basically just telling your story, right? You are allowing your story to help the participants gain the nuggets that they will then apply to their lives to be able to move forward. And I used to not prepare. I used to just stand up. I'm pretty good at what I do. Nobody knows me like me. And I would just show up and, take the stage, make it happen, get a standing ovation, and drop the mic and be out. And this past September, I attended a training for my own personal development and edification on storytelling. And the teacher said something that kind of really blew my mind. And it just really blew my mind. He said, in essence, because I'm not going to quote him exactly, but in essence, he said that if you just show up to speak to an audience, you are disrespecting their platform. You should prepare, that you should know what you're going to say. You should maybe even practice what it is that you're going to say. And that really stuck with me because I certainly never saw myself as being disrespectful to someone's platform, but I absolutely want to do the best that I can do. So this time around, I went like full throttle. I thought about my topic. I created an outline. I thought about the stories I wanted to tell, and I literally wrote a keynote. I'm not going to say it verbatim, right? But I did the prep work so that when I'm standing in front of that audience and I'm thinking about what I want them to walk away, what do I want them to walk away with after they hear me speak? I really thought about that. Like, what do I want them to take away? I'm the first speaker opening up this 2-day conference, right? What do I want them to take away? What do I want them to get from hearing me share my story that will allow them to show up differently in every facet of their life going forward? And I use that as a platform from which to create what I wrote down. And again, I didn't memorize it. I have no intentions of memorizing it because catch this is where surrender comes in. So I've done my due diligence. I've done my work. I've done my part. I then am going to yield, right? Because I'm a vessel for God, quite honestly. I want to be used by him. And I want him to use me for transformation. I want him to use me so that people are delivered and set free. Like, that is what I want to do in the realm of business, right? People come to me because they have business challenges. They're not seeing the growth that they want. They're not making the money they want. But what they get when they come to me is growth in every orifice of their life, because that's my mandate. That's what I said I wanted to do. And so I've done this pre-work and I'm not feeling well. And I might even be not feeling well just so that I can yield, just so that I can surrender to God and his Holy Spirit, knowing that I've done my prep work and that in my mind, I've already thought through what I might say and how I might say it and how I might make the points that I need to make so that these people's lives can be changed forever. And then I'm going to throw my hands up. I'm going to fully surrender. I'm going to yield my vessel to him so that he can use me mightily so that these people's lives might be changed. And that's what the press is about, right? I'm persistently running, expecting for God to not only to show up, but to show out on my behalf, because he created this opportunity in the first place. Because when you surrender, your thoughts align with his thoughts, right? And the things that you get to experience are the things that he has for you in every possible way. And it is through that surrender and through that faith that it becomes real for you. So what I want you to do, because I'm just talking, but let me hear from you. Like, what did you guys like about what I just said? Did I say anything that makes you feel good? I see some people here, Edgar and Akeisha and Timon and Natasha and Roz and Sheila and Lisa and Alexis and Jerome and LaQuisha and Bridget, and my cousin Ubi and April. Like, what did you just get from what I just shared? And how will you allow surrender to be added to whatever it is you're doing? And this is whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee or both, right? Because some of you have full-time jobs and you have part-time businesses. How will you live your surrender in the last 32 days of the year so that your press might be made supernatural and the things that you want become available to you? What are you going to do differently? How are you going to show up? How are you going to take your hands off of the situation and lose a little control so that everything that you want can be brought in? And while you guys are thinking about that and commenting that, let me just tell you that this is probably the best thing I've ever done in my life, is surrender. I have literally watched myself go from needing everything to needing nothing. Did you catch that? I've literally gone from needing everything to needing nothing. Like I exist in a time and space today when I want for nothing. There is no need at all. There's no need. Like how would your life be different if you had no needs? How would your life be different? Because you know that when you no longer need anything, you can have everything. You know that, right? I hope you know that. If you don't, let me be the first to tell you. But I think everything begins to change when you surrender, when you yield, when you realize that when you've been given a responsibility, when there is an opportunity, someone is expecting you to come and to share, even when you don't feel like it, you go, you rise up, you take the steps you need to take to prepare yourself in order to, in that preparation, surrender. And I know that sounds weird, right? To think that you prepare to surrender, like you go through the process of figuring out what you're going to do in order to surrender. But that's an important part of the process. So I don't know. I don't feel like you guys are talking to me. Hey, Dakisha. So I'm just looking. Hey, Andrew, how are you? So like, what did you get from that? And if you happen to join this late or you catch this in the replay, I want you to go back and listen and then share, #replay, and then share what it is that you're getting from this. Let me see what Latasha is saying. Your process for preparing and willingness to shift even when your previous practice worked great. That's where continued elevation takes place, learning and implementing. That's good. Roz says, I never thought about surrender as a lifestyle habit, something that can be initiated and activated often versus sporadically. Yo, Roz, everything changes when you surrender. Like the way you look at stuff is just completely different and you don't get caught up. Like I used to really struggle with comparison, like majorly struggle with comparison. And if I'm being honest with you, I would tell you that it is probably because as a child, I was ostracized by my brothers and sisters, right? I was the quote unquote one who was a do-gooder, who never did anything wrong, that had the great grades. And so they like hated on me. They didn't, like it wasn't a loving, caring environment. Like I didn't grow up in a house where we were told that you're all you have, so you better stick together through thick and thin. That wasn't the message that we got as we were growing up. And so my brothers and sisters, they ostracized me, and I was constantly in comparison. My parents would compare us to one another all the time, right? I was raised by my dad and my stepmom. My mom was in jail. And my stepmom, I remember specifically, would always say to my younger sister, why aren't you more like Darny? That's my nickname. But don't think just because that's my nickname, you can call me that if you see me on the street, unless we know each other, like we tight, okay? Just so we're clear. You know, why aren't you more like, I used to hear that all the time. Why aren't you more like? And so as an adult, growing up and being unsure of myself, I would compare myself to other people. But through the power of surrendering to God and realizing that, you know, God didn't have time to make a nobody. He only had time to make a somebody, right? And so for me to be here, to be in creation with a divine purpose and mandate, not only is there a purpose for my life, but I'm purposeful. And because I'm purposeful, there's no reason for me to compare myself with other people. And so that delivered me the surrender to God and just being focused on being in alignment to Him and in using alignment as my most powerful business growth strategy. It cured me from comparison. Now, I will be honest and tell you that it does rear its ugly head every once in a while. And I'm glad I'm surrounded by amazing people who, you know, whip me back into shape and get me out of my own way. But the bottom line is surrender saved me. It saved me from myself. And it put me in a position to really to be invincible about what other people think about me. Because I didn't really care what other people think about me. Like, I mean, one of the best books I ever read, Terry Cole Whitaker, I think. What You Think of Me Is None of My Business. Get that book. It will help you, especially if you struggle with how people see you, what people think about you, and just general comparison. It really helped me But I still struggle with it even in reading that book. It wasn't until I really fully relinquished, I threw my hands up and said, God, have your way. What would you have me to do? Where would you have me to go? What would you have me to say? And to whom? I trust you, and so I turn it all over to you. It wasn't until I did that the comparison kind of went away. And now I don't compare myself to other people. I recognize myself for what I am, who I am, and what it is that I bring to the table. And I just happen to be one of the best who ever did it when it comes to business and business growth strategy. And I just stand in that lane because God didn't have time to create me with a purpose, for purpose, on purpose, to get caught up in the things that shouldn't concern me, right? So I kind of veered off. I went on to another little tangent. But the bottom line is to press, even when you don't want to. Recognize the mandate on your life, the mission, like whatever your work is, right? Because entrepreneurship, if you ask me, is about operating in your purpose and allowing yourself to be used fully so that others might be transformed through the solving of core problems for other people, right? So when we are committed to solving problems for other people through entrepreneurship, we will generate revenue, right? Because we solve problems for profit as entrepreneurs. And not only will our gifts make room for us, but we've already been given the power to create wealth. And I think entrepreneurship is that for us. So if you aren't experiencing wealth, and that's whatever it means to you, right? Because it means something different to everybody. Then I would encourage you to not only press when you don't feel like it, doing the things you don't want to do, like pick up the phone and have conversations with potential clients or even people you don't know to get to the point of them potentially becoming a client. Doing the things you don't want to do, pressing through that, persistently running, expecting supernatural success because you've taken the time to surrender and be in alignment, and you're completing the task because you know that in doing so, the environment for you will be such that you will be able to get results, right? Doing that and doing it consistently, even when you don't want to. Because I believe that if you are an entrepreneur, and I don't care whether you sell, widgets or services, if you are an entrepreneur, there are people that are counting on you. And so even when you don't feel like it, you have to rise up. You have to step into a higher version of yourself, which honestly you can only do if you surrender fully. Because the other thing that's really great about surrender is that it takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off. Whenever you feel pressure to do whatever, pressure to compete, pressure to perform, surrender. Like, just release it, turn it over. Because when you do, you'll instantly feel a weight shift in your shoulders to create a space for you to just be able to show up fully in that moment and allow yourself to be used however you are to be used so that people get what it is that they need to get. I just talked all over the place. But I hope it was good. A few of you commented. Thanks again, Raz and Natasha, for commenting. Do me 2 quick favors. Number one, share this to your page. If it blessed you, if you got something from it, share it to your page, because you know somebody that I don't know, that I should know, who may need to hear this word, who may need to hear that the how is not your job, and that you have a responsibility to surrender if you really want to do great work in the world, if you really want to shake the planet, if you really want to build a business that serves you in every possible way. You're going to have to surrender, because if you could do it by yourself, it would already be done. Can somebody put that in the comments for me? If you could do it by yourself, it will already be done. Already be done. You wouldn't be trying to figure out how to do it. It will already be done if you could do it by yourself. And since it ain't done, it's because you can't do it by yourself. And I think that the first place you should look, the first place you should seek guidance and support and assistance is by looking up to the hills, right? Or looking inside yourself, because God is in you. Your spirit will emulate the amount of God that you have consistently put in you, right? And as you continue to deepen the relationship that you have with our Creator, then the amount of God that comes out of you will be that much more powerful. Thank you, Natasha, for putting that in there. So since it's not already done, let that serve as your first reminder of the need to surrender. Thank you, Tisha. Appreciate that. So you guys have any questions? Like, we're just driving, like, Marlene is doing such a great job dodging all of the trucks on the road. Any questions I can answer while you guys have me? Anything at all about anything? It's November the 29th. There's like 32 more days left in this year. Where are you to your goals? What are the goals that you set on January 1 or December 31, 2017, January 1, 2018? Are they done? Are they completed? Do you still have ground to make up in this last 32 days to allow you to leave this year feeling like it was a good year for you in whatever way? And that's, whatever the growth was, right? Because all goals may not be just related to what you want to do in your business. Any questions I can answer about how to spend these last 32 days so that you can maximize your results before the year's over? Any? Y'all are tripping. Like, do y'all know who you watching? Do y'all know who you watching? Listen, last night I did one of my business partners. I have a new business that I'll be introducing in 2019. One of my business partners runs her own mastermind, and she invited me to come and just speak to her participants. There are 5 people in the mastermind, and one runs an elevator business, and she crossed the $1 million mark for the first time this year. One does imaging, like prenatal imaging. One does what does she do? Like incorporation. And then one does is an attorney, and then the last one is a consultant who teaches people how to become consultants, right? So a myriad of different businesses around the table, all of them with under like somewhere between 1 and 7 employees. And so she wanted me to talk about marketing. Marketing is definitely one of my I'll answer your question in a second, Natasha. Is one of my wheelhouses. And so I went around with each business completely different. And I just basically gave them a 10-minute business makeover. If you've never watched one of my business makeovers or had me make over your business, like, I'm thebomb.com in 10 minutes. That's my whole point. Like, you guys have an opportunity to ask me a question, and I'm just filling time as we drive and just trying to be of service. So I think I got a couple of questions. So Natasha's asking me, how will I finish the last 32 days in 2018? So as the year ends, so in the month of December, so today I'm going to speak. Speaking is my primary lead generation tool in my business. That's how I fuel my leads that me and my team are going to work to turn it into revenue. So I'm speaking today and tomorrow. I'm flying to Minnesota to speak next Friday. And then the following Tuesday, I'm holding a 1-day event in Reston, Virginia, so in the DMV, called Scale Up 2019. And Scale Up is a 1-day strategic planning experience for small business owners to help them to create their 1-page strategic plan of everything that they need to do to scale up. And let me define what I mean when I say scale up, right? So I believe that to scale, you need 4 things. You need strategy. You need a very clear strategy. You need the right systems to make that strategy run with minimal effort from you. You need support. You need the right people on your team doing the things that need to be done in order to enact said strategy. And then you need all of that working in the direction of you getting sales, right? Scale up to me is about leverage. It's about automation. It's about system development so that you can work smarter and not harder, so that you can make more while working less. So I'm doing this 1-day strategic plan, strategic planning day outside of DC on December 11th. So I've got 4 more dates before I shut down for the year. So that's from a business growth goal perspective. That's how we're going to finalize our goals for the year. We've been on track all year with our revenue goal, with our client goal, with our team goal, with our systems development and content creation goal. Because I set goals in all of those areas in my business. And so after the December 11th event, and we will, I'm sure, enroll more people in our programs. And I have 2 basic programs that we're enrolling people in, our Business Growth Accelerator or the Grow Mastermind. Once we do that, I'm going to shut down profit producing for the year. And I'm going to focus on refining my strategy for 2019. So the basic strategy has already been done because my business runs on a 3-year strategic plan. So right now we are in a strategic plan that is from 2018 to 2021, right? 3 years at a time is how we run. And so the plan and what we're doing in 2019 was developed a few years ago. I'm going to go back and refine it. I'm also going to be developing my content calendar for 2019 because I'm introducing a new podcast in 2019. So if you've been following me for a while, then you may remember Incredible Factor TV, which was my YouTube television show that I did every week for like 5 years. Well, I shut that down at the end of last year. And this year I kind of floated because I was trying to figure out and trying to really hear God about what I should do next. And so I've settled on a podcast, the Incredible Factor Business Podcast, which will launch in 2019. And so I'm going to be developing our content calendar and doing the first few interviews with guests so that we can launch that in 2019. Also, I will be refining my strategy for our live event, Breakthrough in Business, which will happen in May of 2019, so that we can hit our goal of people enrolled to attend that particular event. So that's how I'm going to spend the rest of the year, Natasha. And I see that she documented all that. Yeah, so if you loved Incredible Factor TV, like Shayla is saying that she did, you're going to love the podcast. It's going to be both video and audio. So the audio, of course, will be uploaded to all of the podcast sites, the iTunes and Spotify's and all of that. And then the videos of the interview will be loaded up to YouTube for a new iteration of Incredible Factor TV. I'm really, really excited about it. I've been trying to figure out what was going to be my new way to release content. And while I love Facebook Lives and I will continue to do them, I just know I can reach many more people if I'm podcasting. And that's really my mission, is just to be able to impact as many people as I can. My personal goal throughout the life of my business and my legacy is to have personally impacted 5 million businesses through my work. So that's kind of really what I'm working on. Okay, let me see Shayla's question. If you had to start completely from scratch in my business with no clients, knowing all that I know about business, what are the top 2 to 3 things you would focus on and take action on today? That is an amazing question. So the first thing that I would do if I was completely starting from scratch with no clients is I would do a review. I would just verify that I'm crystal clear of who I am, the problem I solve, and for who I solve that problem. So once I'm clear on that, and I know it vacillates, right? Then the second thing that I would do is I would create my core messaging of what I'm going to say to those people that I just realized that I'm meant to serve through the solving of the problem. And then after that, I would ask myself, where do these people hang out? Where can I find them in large enough numbers where I can go and talk to them, and I can, because they're galvanized together, when I do my thing, when I demonstrate to them that I know exactly what it is that they're going through and what they're experiencing, and I've got the solution they need to finally solve the problem and no longer be a Band-Aid, they're all in that place. And when I give my call to action, a portion of them will rise up and take action and have a conversation with me. And then I would conduct sales conversations. I would then also, depending upon what that very first thing was, what the problem I solved and who I wanted to solve it for, if I'm starting from scratch, but I know, Shayla, because you're not new to this, if I've had previous businesses, I would go back through clients that I've worked with previously and prospects that I've spoken with previously to see if they now meet the criteria for them to become potential clients in my business currently. And I would reach out to them. I would check in. I would see what's going on. I would tell them what's new with me. And then I would see if we would be the right fit for us to have a conversation about how I can help them to solve this problem I'm now solving for them as they get ready for whatever's next and best for them. That's what I would do. Great question. I feel like somebody else asked a question, so let me go back up. Oh no, Rashida's just saying, this is so good, I need to inbox you. Well, inbox. So I'm still, April, if you're still watching, I'll call you back in a few minutes. I'm still on my Facebook Live. I think that was it. Whew, guys, I'm hot. It's hot in the car. Let me turn my heated seats off. That might be why I'm so hot. You're welcome. Shayla, you are so very welcome. You are so very appreciated. That's my Christmas gift to you. Because here's the thing, right? So let me say this too, for those of you who are afraid to do what I just did, are afraid to give free advice away. People are always talking about, no, you can't pick my brain. And I agree with that too. So there's two things I want to say. Number one, you are an infinite well. You have so much knowledge and expertise that you couldn't possibly give it all away by answering someone's question. And then number two, when you demonstrate your skill set and your expertise to people, and if Shayla goes and she takes action on everything that I just told her to do and she gets results, you know what Shayla's going to do? She's going to reach out to me and she's going to probably want to have a conversation for us to work together. Because what I gave her is just the tip of the iceberg. I could help her go from 0 to multiple 6 figures inside of a year. And I'm not concerned and worried about that. Now, the difference is I volunteered it versus you asking me for it, right? And so that's what you have to always be careful of. Because when it's on your terms, it's great. Because we do live in a society where we have to demonstrate our skill. It's just like, Baskin Robbins or Rita's or any of those places where you can go and get a sample. You have to taste it first, right? Like even the word says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. So, oh, taste and see that Darnyelle is good. Oh, taste and see that I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Tisha is asking, am I going to be in Arizona anytime in the near future? I do not have any plans to do any events in Arizona in 2019. That doesn't mean that it won't change, that I could get a speaking opportunity there, and then while I'm there, I could piggyback and do my own event. But what I would tell you to do, just in case, is look at flights to Philly, girl. You can get a good flight to Philly. Hubby and I were just in Arizona. When were we there? In October. And we got a pretty decent flight. And come and hang out and come and learn what you need. Don't let geography keep you from getting access to whatever it is that you feel you need in order to go to the next level. If you feel like I'm the person for you, let's have a conversation and let's talk about it. I have clients from all over, from California, that come to Delaware every 90 days for our retreats, for our mastermind. If you want something you've never had, sometimes you have to be willing to do something you've never done. But absolutely, if I am in Arizona, if you are on my list, you will certainly be made aware of that, because whenever I'm traveling, if I have time to piggyback my own event or some consulting, we will always send an email out to participants to let them know that I'm going to be in their neck of the woods. So Tisha, make sure that you're on my list if you're not. And let's have a conversation. Right now we're in open enrollment for my programs. I would love to talk with you about where you are and which offering I have would work best for you. Again, I'm really good at what I do. I have never had anyone that I work with that did what I told them to do that did not make money. And more than just making money, my clients are changing their lives. They're like their lives are being better. They're drawing closer to God. They're connecting with themselves and their journey and their purpose in such a way that it really removes and it reduces and eventually eliminates fear. And so that means that they're just free to get out there and do what it is that they've been called to do. And I would want that for you as well. So let's chat. If you guys want to start by inboxing me, and then I can get you the link to go through the process so I can learn a little bit more about you, and then we can have a conversation. If you're not in my group, I have a group here on Facebook. Entrepreneurs Position to Profit. If you're not in that group, I would highly recommend that you go and join. We just crossed over 1,000 members, and I'm so excited. I'm over the moon excited about that. And I'm looking forward to many more people joining the group. So Entrepreneurs Position to Profit, find it and go join that. Angela Vet says, I have an event coming up December 22nd, 40 vendors. So if you are in the area, and I will send a flyer. Where are you located, Angela Vet? Tell me where you're located. As a general rule, I don't vend unless I'm speaking. And that's just my own personal thing. But I will happily at least say it on this live if you tell me where you are really quickly before I end it. Oh, she's in Jersey, so you're not too far from me. So December 22nd. What kind of event is it? Is it like a like maybe like a Christmas type of thing? Like, tell me a little bit more about the event. And like I said, I'll just blast you right now if you don't mind. I'm so hot, guys. I'm turning my cooled seats on right now because I'm hot. I'm like burning up hot. Whew, I'm about to be naked in the car. Right. I don't think Marlena wants to know me like that, though. But any other questions before I roll? Oh, Marlena has a question.
What made you go from having a year-by-year strategy to a 3-year strategy? And what are the pros of having a 3-year strategy?
Ooh, this is a good question. Marlena asked the best question. She said, what made me go from having a year-by-year strategy to having a 3-year strategy, and what are the pros and cons of doing so? So, you know you got to get over, right? Okay. So I've always, for as long as I've been in business, I've always had a 3-year strategic plan, and that's because when I was in corporate America, I'm not having hot flashes, Angela Vet. I'm just hot. I had my heated seats on, and it's hot in the car. Anyway, so sorry about that. So I've always had a 3-year strategic plan because that was one of the things I learned. I was in management in corporate America, and you know my division operated on a 3-year strategic plan, and so that was one of the practices that I carried over into my own business. So that's kind of always been the case. And so the pros of doing that is that you know the cycle with which you are launching. If you're bringing new products to market, if you're developing new programs, you know when that's happening far enough in advance, because you know if you haven't done your 2019 plan yet, you really are behind the 8 ball, really, like, because it'll be January in 32 days. You guys know that, right? it'll be January in 32 days, so you should already know what you're launching in January. So with my clients at my mastermind, we work 90 days in advance, right? So when we had our mastermind in October, they worked on their plan for first quarter 2019 so that they would know what they were going to be launching at the top of the year. And it's just, in my opinion, CEOs don't run businesses by the seat of their pants. CEOs are strategic and they plan. And I know that there are a lot of people who aren't really CEOs that are calling themselves CEOs. And that's the whole reason why Incredible Factor University exists, because I want to turn entrepreneurs into CEOs. And I want you thinking differently, because it's mindset more than it's anything else, right? But that's the thing that's really, really important to do. But yes, I've always had a 3-year strategic plan. I would recommend it because, see, some of you have big initiatives, and what you'll do is you have a 1-year plan and you'll put 5 or 7 things that you plan to do in that year, and then you only get to 3 or 4 of them, and then you're feeling defeated and like a failure because you didn't get to everything. So when you have a 3-year strategic plan, it allows you to look at everything you want to do and give you the opportunity to space it out so that you actually have time to get it done. And so you might think, you know, there's 12 months in a year, I can do something new every month. No, not if you want to do it well. Even with a great team and systems and automation, it can be really challenging to operate at that level, and to do it well, especially if there are things you haven't done before. So it's really important to make sure that that you think things through in that way. All right, one last question, and then I'm going to get off, and I'm just going to go through my notes as we're starting to get close to our location. Hold on, let me see if anybody. Marlena has another question if y'all don't have a question. Going once, going twice. Let me just go back through and make sure nobody asked a question. Oh, so Angela Vet's event is a holiday vendors networking event. So if you are a vendor that has products that people might be looking to purchase for the holiday, I would reach out to Angela Vet Williams Hawkins here on Facebook. Check her out and learn about that. Okay, I don't have any other questions on here. All right, Marlena.
How long should it take someone to do their 3-year strategic plan?
How long should it take for someone to do their 3-year strategic plan? It really depends. I probably spend a good half day on it, because it's not just like me writing down 2019 quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, 2020, quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, 2021. So it's not just that. It's also me looking at the calendar to figure out when things are actually going to happen. And I get one of those huge calendars. I did a Facebook Live last year, I think, when we were finalizing our plan from last year. So for the next year, because initially when I do it in the 3-year strategic plan, it's just goals and initiatives for the quarter. But then I go and chart it on the calendar to see that everything I want to do actually makes sense. And then we add it to the marketing calendar to see what we already have in the works, and do we have time to send enough emails and do enough of the activities we need to do to make sure that we're going to yield the results that we want. Because what's the point of doing a launch or putting a new program out there if you don't do it in its entirety to get the results that you want, right? That's how you feel defeated. That's how you start to question whether or not you should even be in business. What I've learned along the way, and this is why I think part of the reason clients hire me, is because a lot of people are good at what they do, but they're not great at business acumen. So I bring that piece to the table of, the KPIs and the things you need to track and the things you need to consider in your plan to make sure that you will have success from it, which I think is really important. All right, guys. One last question, if there's a question from anybody here on the live. Otherwise, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And again, make sure that you comment so that I know you were here. And also, the reason why you want to comment is because that tells Facebook that whenever I go live, they should tell more people about it. So I want you to make a comment. I also want you to share this to your page so that other people can hear it. And if you want to have a conversation with me about the role that I might be able to play in helping you to achieve the goals that you have for your business, then you should send me an inbox message. And also make sure you go and join the Facebook group, Entrepreneur's Position of Profit. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for making me feel better, because you guys make me feel better. I don't feel nearly as crappy as I did when we started this drive. So thank you so very much for sending me your positive energy and love through the airwaves and helping me to feel better. I love you guys so very much. I'm going to center myself and pray and prepare for my keynote today, and get ready to surrender and yield to God so that he can do these things. Hi, Tanisha. Hi, Angel. Hi, Tanya. So I love you guys so much. Go back and catch this in the replay. And again, please share it to your page for me. It doesn't hurt anything for you to let other people know that you just got some great information and got your questions answered. But it would bring more people that I don't know into an opportunity to know me. And I would just be really grateful to you if you did. Love you guys so much. See you next time. Take care. Bye.